Would you like to change your brain to change your life? Wherever you are today is not your destination end. Welcome to the Transform Your Mind radio show and podcast. I'm your host, Coach Myrna Young, and today my guest is Arthur Carmazzi. Arthur is a best-selling author and is ranked as one of the world's top 10 most influential thought leaders in leadership and organizational culture. Welcome, Arthur. It is a pleasure to have you on this show speaking to us all the way from Bali. Welcome.
The pleasure is mine, Myrna. I am so excited.
Yes, and I tell you, it's amazing that you can be excited at almost midnight your time. It's it's morning here in America, and it's like midnight in Bali almost. So yes, great energy. Well, welcome.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, our topic today is going to be life hacks that break the barriers that prevent success. So stay tuned. I'm pretty sure that you're curious to know about some of these hacks that are preventing your success. So let me tell you a little bit more about Arthur. I gave you that little teaser a minute ago. Ranked as one of the global top 10 most influential leadership gurus by Guru International, Arthur F. Carmazzi has over 21 years experience specializing in psychological approaches to leadership and corporate culture transformation. I love that word. He is a renowned motivational leadership keynote speaker and trainer in the Asian region, and has advanced corporate training with innovative techniques and tools that have been acknowledged by some of the world's greatest organizations. He is a best-selling author with book titles like The 6 Dimensions of Top Achievers, The Colored Brain Communication Field Manual, Identity Intelligence, Lessons from the Monkey King, and Psychology of Selecting the Right Employee. Well, Arthur, that is an impressive bio. I'm very curious. Go ahead.
Hey, and don't forget the latest book, which is The Architects of Extraordinary Team Culture, which is a super, super cool book. My best one so far.
Okay, awesome. I missed that one. All right. So is that the one we're going to be talking about mostly today?
Well, that's actually there's a lot of information from all of these different books, but in this particular case, in the new book, one of the elements that we'll probably be talking about is how you can actually create predictable performance in teams.
Okay.
So, for example, it's like a recipe, right? You got some pistachio ice cream, and maybe you put some chocolate on top and some whipped cream and some gummy bears. That's kind of nice. And then you got some pepperoni pizza, and maybe you add a little bit of more mozzarella. But if you mix the pistachio ice cream and the pepperoni pizza, it's probably not going to go so well, right?
No, right.
So it's the same thing with people, okay? Sometimes you've got teams that work, and it's just like, everybody works together and we're all team and everything, and they achieve great things. And other times you've got these teams that, basically don't work, and people are become underperformers within the teams. And people just think, it's just, it's to chance or something like that. No, it's not. They're very predictable markers, and you can predict. You can literally create recipes of high-performance teams depending on where they're going to go and what they're going to do.
Okay, so that's great. When you were talking, I remembered something I heard a couple of days ago on a podcast, and I'm going to use it often because I love it. And the guy said that every lock has a combination, and if you have the combination to the lock, anybody can open it. It doesn't matter who you are, man, woman, black, white, whatever. So it's the same as, and basically what he was saying, that if you have the recipe or the combination or whatever, you can open any lock. So I like that. So you're talking about, specific recipes to get specific results, same as a combination lock or how you open a lock. So I love that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yes. So what I like to normally start off is just so that we can, I can get a feel for you and the listeners can get a feel for you. So can you tell me your journey on becoming a global leadership guru? Like, how did that evolve?
Wow. Well, it's evolved from absolute failure.
Oh,
Um, yeah. Let's see. I mean, well, first of all, even from when I was a kid, I was kind of, told that I was, well, I was actually put in the special kids class, and you
hmm
kind of know what that means, right?
yeah, right,
And
yes.
so for most of my life, I thought I was basically stupid because that's what the
Oh,
system was telling me. Because I can't
yeah.
spell. I still can't spell, even though I've written all these books, 12 now, and
Wow.
um, and I still can't spell very well. But I mean, we got spell
Do you
check, we
have
got all sorts.
dyslexia?
Yeah, well, dyslexia and
Right.
a little
Okay.
bit of ADHD, and so
Mm.
yeah. So
Okay.
anyway,
hmm
if it wasn't for one teacher that actually kind of gave me a chance to succeed in my own way, and realize that I wasn't an idiot, I'd probably be maybe manager at McDonald's, asking you, would you like to upsize that, ma'am?
I like that. Yes.
So
Okay.
so anyway, I ended up I ended up working for this company. It was a consulting company, and I was actually chasing this girl in Korea, and I needed to get a job in Korea. So I convinced this company to set me up as managing director, and create a Korean branch. And so
Nice.
the so so I'm
Innovative.
there in this. Thank you. You do crazy stuff when it comes to
Yes.
women, I tell you.
It's true. Yes.
And anyway, I ended up doing rather well after a while in this company, but it was more of a hands-on kind of thing. So we would create these franchises for these big companies, so that they would that manufactured stuff, so that they could actually sell all their stuff at much higher profit margins, and also sell the whole franchise system with their stuff, so everybody would win.
Mm.
And so basically, I was like, got very egotistical. You know how, like, sometimes you're doing something and it's turning out really well, and you start thinking, I am so awesome.
Nothing wrong with confidence.
Yeah, well, confidence is okay, but conceit and kind of being a little bit of an asshole is not necessarily
Okay.
that good, right?
All right.
So so I thought, hey, I'm making all this money for these guys. I can do it myself. And so I decided, okay, I was going to quit. I was going to move to Singapore, and I'm going to start my own, franchise thing, which is one of my ideas and everything else. So I took all the money that I had, and I borrowed another $500,000,
Oh,
and
wow.
I put this whole thing together. And within, knowing that I was going to, be this tycoon and everything, and within a year and a half, not only was I flat broke, but I was
Uh-oh.
$500,000 in debt.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever been $500,000 in debt.
No. No.
It's really stressful. Do not try this at home.
But the great thing about it is leverage. It's someone else's money. Yeah, you don't have to stress too much about it. If you can't pay it back, you can't pay it back.
Yeah. But yeah, they find you everywhere. I mean, and it's not just one person, right? They're like chasing. It's like it's well. Anyway, it was stressful.
I'm getting the picture. Mm-hmm.
I ended up so I finally I managed to get this job, and it was a pretty good job. I was a department head in this big conglomerate, and you know how when you first start your job, you're like really excited, and you're thinking, wow, I can see what's going to happen next year, in a couple years, and I'm going to be able to do this, and I'm going to be able to add so much value to this company that they're going to just promote me, and I'm going to be managing director of my own division, and all this
Wow.
stuff. So you're thinking all of these things,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And and then about like 3 weeks later, reality starts to set in. And I started noticing all these people were blaming each other, and everybody's like going over here, and it's like, the finance department isn't, cooperating, and, the procurement guys are, messing up, and, the marketing department is not really supporting the sales guys, and, everybody's blaming everybody. And I'm thinking, man, what is wrong with these people? But I thought, okay, no problem. I can fix this. Okay, I'm gonna make things happen. And I come up with these really cool ideas. Have you ever had cool ideas?
Yeah. I dream about them every morning. Inspiration.
There you go.
Yes, right. Mm.
Cool ideas, right? And you take them up to people, and I took it up to these guys, and they said, look, we understand you're new, but you've got your department, we've got our department. And you kind of like do your thing, we'll do our thing. And I'm thinking, oh man, it would really make a difference and everything, but nobody's cooperating, nobody cares. And I'm thinking, man, what is wrong with these people? But I knew I could make a difference. 4.5 months later, you know what happened?
What? You made a difference?
I without even realizing it, started blaming people.
Oh.
And I'm like, these guys over here is not doing this for the sales.
I didn't see that one coming. Right. Yes, all right.
Okay, so guys that start coming up to me and say,
well,
hey,
that's
Arthur,
basically what they say about having like a gossip or cancer in your organization. It spreads, and you caught it. Yep.
Exactly. And people would come up to me and ask me to help them. I'd say, look, you do your thing, I'll do my thing. I got sucked into the
culture. Yeah, yes, exactly. I've heard people talk about that. Yep.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I said I've heard people talk about that. How when you have like one negative person or one person, you get rid of them because it spreads. So and they also talk about the culture. Yes, the culture is it's energy, right? And it spreads. Yep. Okay.
And so what it got to the point where I basically gave up. I mean, I was still doing my job. I was still doing it as well as I could, but I wasn't really doing all the extra stuff. I wasn't putting 100% in, and I found myself doing a lot of busy work. You know how you do a lot of busy work? You're always busy, but you're not really accomplishing anything great, and you're not being innovative because you're it's like, well, why? Every time I'm trying to be innovative, I get rejected. Nothing happens. Nobody cares. Why should I bother? And I became an underachiever. And it became one of these things where it affects you in all aspects of your life. It affects you at home. It affects you when you're with your friends, with people you care about, your relationships, and of course at work. And I became just sick of my job, and I couldn't quit because I needed the money.
The money. Right.
And so what ended up happening was one day after, just being less than who I was. I mean, because, you know how you find yourself some days that you can do more, you can be more, you can really achieve more, and yet you're not.
And unmotivated, I guess. That's where I would say.
Yeah, and I looked in the mirror one day and I thought, man, you suck. And so I went and I talked to these other department heads, these bad people that were making my life difficult, and I found out something completely unexpected. I found out that they were like me, that they also had these dreams, they also had these ideas, they wanted to cooperate, they wanted to do teamwork, they wanted, to have an environment where they could really achieve great things, and yet they also got sucked in to the culture. And I'm thinking, okay, so there's powers and forces that are greater here than the individuals that seem to be bad. they are simply reacting to the environment, the culture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I started to do research. And so I, did research about, I originally started with the idea of, okay, well, maybe personalities, what are the different personalities? And then I found out that, all this stuff about personality, it's too complicated and it can't be accurate with so many complicated variables. And so I started looking into elements of why people are miscommunicating, why people are frustrated, why people lose trust. And so I found some genetic foundations in that. And then I found out, why are people motivated and why are they unmotivated? What motivates them? All these different things. And what are some of the factors of the mind-body connection? Why is it that a high achiever or somebody that can be a high achiever becomes a low achiever in a specific group? Mm-hmm. And so I started, after about a little over a year, I started to apply some of the ideas and strategies that later became known as the directive communication psychology body of work. And,
okay.
and we ended up saving the company about $17,000 a week in wastage.
Oh, wow. In what?
Wastage.
In wastage?
And after that I started writing articles, and then I got on the radio, then I got on TV, and then after people started calling me, and then after a while I was able to quit my job and I was on the road to becoming Arthur Carmazzi. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Wow. Well, that's great. But you had it in you all the time. You had the confidence. You started your own business. You wanted to even though you were chasing a girl, you still had you're self motivated. You only lacked it for a little bit, but then it came back up.
But see, the thing is that environment, even if you're
said whoever you are is going to
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay. You're right. Okay. Who you're with and things. And this is again where, I had failed on so many levels, and I wasn't the person that I could have been. And this is where, again, the whole concept of psychology life hacks, right? There are people who have great mindsets, who really, who do the work. There are people who are right now, they are positive and they are doing the work and they are really achieving something, but not as much as they really could. And and they know that they're doing things right, and for some reason things still aren't working out. And this is where I was, and after that, I built this, and then I started to franchise in 2005. Now we have over 400 licensed directive communication psychology trainers and coaches in 18 different countries. But
nice.
It wasn't always that way because, even though there was some things, there was still some struggles. There was some successes and there was some struggles. And sometimes, you're wondering, I'm doing things right. Why aren't things working? And
I hear that word systems. I haven't heard it for a while, but there's a time where almost every leadership, conference or anything I went to, they talked about systems, and that's basically what you're talking about. We can call it the padlock. We can call it a system, and everybody usually starts off with McDonald's and their system. You're in the franchise world, and franchises is usually about systems. You do it this way, and that's what you pay for. So that's good. Yep.
And now the thing is, though, that let's say, for example, okay, so we're talking about, like earlier you were saying, if you follow somebody that's been successful, you'll be successful. Well, yes and no. Okay, let's say, for example, okay, this is something called modeling, right? So modeling is basically you have all the modalities and, you do everything that somebody's doing and then you should get the same results. Well, no, okay? According to the research, it doesn't work that way. I mean, let's take, for example, somebody like Richard Branson, okay? So Richard Branson, he's got a very specific, chaotic process of achieving things. I mean, he's got, so the way that he interprets information, the way that he acts on information is very different than, say, for example, the late Steve Jobs. Okay, so Steve Jobs.
Well, Steve Jobs wasn't a serial entrepreneur. Richard Branson is. Steve Jobs was just focused on one thing, and that is, building one. Well, he built several things in Apple, but he was kind of focused on that.
Well, I mean, he also started Pixar, and he started a lot of other things that were that he did as well, right? After when they fired him, but
exactly.
If my brain, essentially has what we call chaotic process, or the brain's genetic ambiguity relief process is chaotic processing, for example, and I try to model Steve Jobs, I would fail. Because Steve Jobs does not have the same process. He doesn't interpret information. He doesn't see things through the same colored glasses that I do. So therefore, I would not succeed by trying to model him. On the other hand, Richard Branson, who does have chaotic processing, I would be more successful by modeling somebody that sees things through the same colored glasses that I do.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So, but what I'm getting from that, though, is that if you set up a system, it doesn't mean that it will be successful because different people are going to interpret that. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. And unless you're creating a system that is for you. So, for example, let's say I'm some time management guru, and I'm going to tell you how to manage your time and all these proven things, and that will work for maybe 20 to 30% of the population. Okay? Why? Because the rest of the people don't process information. They don't process time. They don't process, the clarity getting in the same way. So it doesn't work. And so you try something, and you're trying this time management thing, and like 2 weeks later, it's like it's gone. You spend money on something and you try it, and for some reason it just doesn't stick. It's not because it's not good. It's just because your brain process, your ambiguity relief process, doesn't match with the process of whatever it is that you're trying. So you actually have to, if you're going to gamify and hack your success, you have to start, first of all, with what works for you. And in order to do that, you have to understand how you interpret and process the world around you, how your brain gets clarity.
Okay, so I like that, so which is basically your topic today. So I think for a moment that you were going by saying that there is a key to unlock every box, but I think you're going individually. You're not going by a key. You're going by everybody has to understand, who they are and how they show up, which is true because we're all individual, we're all different, we all process information different, we all have a different digestive system, different fingerprints, there's no two people that are alike. So I understand that. But then your specialty are teams. So if there's not a key, then I'm thinking, I'm sitting back here as somebody that's not experienced in this at all, that sounds difficult.
Okay, so here's the thing. There is no key. There is the key master.
Okay. All right. So that's good.
Right?
Then. Yes.
Okay, so Steve, the thing is that there is literally an infinite number of keys. Okay? But once you understand how to make the keys,
nice.
then it becomes easy.
All right. I'm liking this. Okay, this is new information for me, so take it away.
All right. So, well, okay. I mean, first of all, let's look at. I mean, there's multiple facets, right? So, okay, what I was
Okay.
talking about earlier were primary motivators, or what we call emotional drives, right?
Okay.
Now, emotional drives are the things that drive you to basically make the decisions that you make, and
Mhm.
and they are your why. Okay. Now, the thing before we get into motivators is your how. Okay, and that deals
Mhm.
with the brain's genetic ambiguity relief process. And of course, this is we have a system to measure and define your brain's ambiguity relief process, and we call this this system the colored brain.
Okay.
Okay, so the colored brain basically segments the different processes into individual clarity-getting processes. So, for example, remember, this is not about personality. This is how your brain gets clarity. So
Mhm.
there are different processes that your brain gets clarity, and it's based on specific lengths of specific genes in specific parts of your brain. But anyway, that release neurotransmitters or regulate neurotransmitters in specific parts of your brain. But so what if you can imagine when you look at something and you say, oh, okay, I need to get clarity in this way, or I need to get clarity before I take action, or so clarity helps you to define how and if people will take action. It helps you to define the process of what they need in order to really understand something, so communication. It also has a very, very strong connection to trust and respect, okay? And I'm going to tell you why in just a minute. And if you go to organizational culture, one of the primary breakdowns in organizational culture is the lack of trust and respect for many of the people and possibly the management within that culture.
That is true.
Okay?
Right.
So,
Mhm.
let me kind of give you a little bit about the brain processes or the brain colors, okay? And then I'll kind of go back and explain that a little bit more. So, first, you have chaotic processing, or what we call the green brain. Now, the green brain, literally
Mhm.
nothing is connected. And because nothing is connected, what happens is it will go, it can create anything from anything. Okay, get a little bit of information, and immediately, in order to get clarity, the green brain will start to take action. So they'll start to kind of like go, okay, all right, okay, now let's try this. And maybe they'll ask you questions, hey, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And they're talking about it like it's already in process and doing it. And other people are freaking out. It's like, oh, my gosh, you already started doing something and you didn't tell me or whatever. And so you've got, or people will say, oh, you're just so impulsive and you're jumping into stuff without really, checking and stuff.
Mhm.
So you've got these different people that are misunderstanding the green brain. And oftentimes, because they get just a little information, they already kind of have this big fuzzy picture. They need to take action to get clarity of what that picture is. As they're moving towards that picture, oftentimes they have to shape and reshape it, right? Because
Okay.
as they're moving, remember, nothing's connected, so sometimes they make a mistake. It's like, okay, that didn't work, now try this. And in fact, green brains make the most mistakes of any other brain color, but they also recover faster from mistakes than any other brain color, so much so that people don't even realize they make mistakes sometimes. And also that,
Yeah,
they
I know
also...
those people. I
Yeah.
mean, I think managers like those people too because they're not going to sit back and wait. They're excitable and they want to do things and usually the new people like you were that are very excited and see, but after a while people get into a rut with the same kind of behaviors and they do things. So when you're talking about this person, I'm thinking of somebody that's you know excited for what they're doing, and they want to move forward.
Well, okay. See, here's the thing. Okay, something like excited is an emotional drive. Okay, so that means it's if you're excited, if you're passionate, that has absolutely nothing to do with how your brain is interpreting information. Okay? So you can be excited and have this brain processor, and you can also not be excited and have the same brain process.
Got you.
Processor does not. Yeah, it's just about how you're getting clarity. So take it, because sometimes that action, again, can be misinterpreted as being reckless. Okay.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what I'm thinking. When you said that, I'm thinking of somebody that's, you're right. I'm thinking of an emotional person that, is excited to do things, and they run off and do it before they even get clarity, and you know what I mean? But yeah. So that's what I'm thinking.
The thing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's where these people are misunderstood, because they get clarity through that action. And sometimes, of course, people think they're always changing their mind, but from their perspective, they're not changing their mind. They're simply reshaping it to get to the better end result, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so these guys, this is one process, okay? So it's green brain or chaotic processing. Now, the other one would be the purple brain, okay? And the purple brain, we call this relational processing. Everything is related and everything is connected. So purple brains, they need to get information. Now, it's important to know that it's all about the details and the information. It's not about, analyzing and everything else, because everything is connected. So the moment that they put it in, it's kind of like a database. It automatically starts to connect to everything else. And so what happens is that the more information, the more details they get, the more options that appear to them. So essentially, the options just automatically come up as they're getting all this information. And so once they feel that they have clear options, now they can go ahead and choose an option, and they can move from there. Now, if they're wrong, they still have other options, and maybe they might get a little more information to just kind of check and make sure which other option to go for. But at the end of the day, because everything is connected, it's just kind of, they just see it. The problem where misunderstanding happens is that these people oftentimes take a long time to get all of this information and all of these details. And people just kind of misunderstand them and think, oh, they're slow or they're not efficient or anything else.
They're just weighing all their options, huh?
Yeah. And if something goes wrong, they already have the options to basically back it up. And so, and they're also really, these people are actually quite good at making systems, because everything is connected and they have all the details, they have all the information, so they see how it all connects. Okay? So with the only main issue is that sometimes, because they're very detailed and because, they need so much information, that oftentimes they're not really good at delegating, because they think other people aren't going to be as detailed.
Right.
Now, let's just take these two for example. So let's say you got a purple brain boss who needs the details, and you got a green brain subordinate. Okay, and the purple brain boss says, "I need a report." So the green brain gives them a brief report, right? It's like, hey, let's just, here it is. Here's the main points. Here's the bullet points. Boom. And the purple brain says, no, what are you talking about? I need this, I need this,
the details, right.
Yes, you want all the details. And the green brain's thinking, oh my gosh, why am I wasting all my time with this? This is stupid. And so they end up getting
in conflict, right? Yes, in conflict, right.
Respect, they lose trust, and then eventually it's like, why should I bother?
Right.
Okay. Now, another
Now, how many parts of colors of the colored brain are we going to talk about? Because we need to take a break.
Oh, okay. Why don't we take this? Is a perfect time to take a break, because there's two more, and I've already done two. So
you've done the two? Okay. All right. So let's take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors today. Have the Courage to Be You by Chris Morgan, and ThemGood.com innovative solutions for lawn care and vehicle washing services. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with the other parts of the other colors of the colored brain. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to samgood.com. We offer innovative solutions for the lawn care and vehicle washing industry for both customers and providers. We welcome you to review the information on our site so you can learn how we operate and how you can benefit. We're not just another lawn care or vehicle washing business. We're transforming the industry by directly connecting customers with qualified providers. Now, hold on to your seat for a minute, because what I'm about to say will probably shock you and hopefully pique your interest. Listen very carefully. The first 1,000 customers to receive 20 ordered jobs, meaning lawn care yard cuts, vehicle washings, or both, they will receive what we call CRAF, a Customer Relief Appreciation Fund, which is $10,000 paid out to beneficiaries of a customer if they pass away. Now, the customer still receives the funding even if we never do another job for them again after the initial 20. We offer this as an added benefit to show our appreciation to our valued customers. But wait, there's more. If a beneficiary of that customer were to pass away, that customer would receive the $10,000 or more. We say more because after we've done 20 jobs for the customer, $100 is added to the $10,000 for each additional job performed. So, every time a customer wants work done by us, we add $100 to their fund. We are the only company around that's rewarding customers on this level for just trying out our services. And our ideas of how to reward customers are only going to get better as we grow. Our valued customers will always remain our top priority. Thank you, and we look forward to having you as a customer or provider.
Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind radio show with Coach Myrna. I'm your host, and today we are speaking to Arthur Carmazzi. Arthur was telling us in the first segment of the colored brain, and we talked about the green brain, which is the chaotic brain, and the purple brain, which is bogged down with options. So, as we get into the second segment, we were going to continue talking about the other two colors of the colored brain and what that means. So, Arthur, take it away.
All right. Well, okay, the next one, okay, is going to be the red brain, which is linear processing. So linear process, okay, what they look for and need for the terms of in terms of structure is they need structure. I mean, they need to find where the structure is, where it comes from, how everything is connected, and so that is the key thing for the second one is they need structure. And so if there isn't any structure, what ends up happening is they start to create it, and sometimes it's a little bit frustrating. It's like sometimes, for example, the green brain, you say, okay, I need this, and they'll go, okay, and then they start to go and do it because they get their clarity in the process. But a red brain, you say, okay, I need you to do this, and it's like, well, yeah, but what step first, what second, what do I need to do, what happens if this happens, and so there's this whole structure that might be missing for them that would make them feel uncomfortable to actually just move on it. So therefore, they may get frustrated, and they may feel that, that depending on, who, if they've got a green brain boss, say for example, that this person is an idiot and he doesn't know what he's doing, and So there's judgments, and again, there is lack of trust, lack of respect, and because the red brain has, they get clarity through structure. It's an active process, so they do have to find the structure. What ends up happening is that they create, they have this kind of logical process that affects their ability to kind of connect with people. So, because they become very objective. And so sometimes, people misunderstand red brains as being uncaring. And it's not true. They're just as caring as any other person could or may or may not be. But the thing is that because of their objectivity, sometimes they can be very caring, but are a little bit misunderstood in that way.
Okay. So
now, red brains also, yeah.
The fact that they need structure. What you're saying is, if they're being misunderstood as being uncaring and unobjective, then they obviously they're not leading with a lot of compassion, I'm assuming, right?
Well, yeah, it's again, I mean, it's a little bit difficult to be empathetic because that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for, okay, this, what this equals. So if you do this, you do this, you do this, you get this. Okay, so for example, in a relationship, a red brain person might be the person that will buy gifts in order to, impress their spouse or whatever. And
okay, got you.
And so then with the red brain, you have that kind of that kind of process. So they get clarity through identifying and or creating structure. And of course, the red brains, they make least mistakes of any other brain color. Okay, but if they do make a mistake, they take the longest to recover from the mistake than any other brain color.
All right, and the next one?
Okay, so, and that's because they have to start at the beginning. Now, the next one would be the the blue brain. And the blue brain essentially is it's what we call intuitive processing. So intuitive processing is, by nature, the idea of intuition is not some woo-woo thing that the universe gives you. Intuition is actually your unconscious experience. So you've got all of these things that have happened to you and have happened around you that you haven't been noticing, but your subconscious basically does pick up on this stuff. So let's say, for example, like a year ago, you say, I got to buy some Bitcoin. And it's like, whatever, why do you want to buy Bitcoin? It's like, no, it just feels right, So and people don't really understand why you want to do it. But then, you do it and, make some money and everybody goes, wow, that's, great intuition. Well, in reality, what happened was that, like 3 years ago, maybe you were buying apples at the supermarket and you heard these two people talking in the background. Even though you didn't pay attention, your subconscious took the information in, and they were talking about Bitcoin, yada, yada, yada. And so you had this subconscious experience, and so therefore it seemed like the right thing to do. You couldn't really know why, but it just felt right. And, with blue brains also, I mean, because they pick up on stuff very, very easily. They pick up on, what's going on around them. So they pick up on people. So they're quite empathetic. But this does not necessarily mean that all blue brains like to be around people because they are empathetic. That also means that oftentimes they end up taking other people's problems as their own. And sometimes they just don't want to deal with that, so they don't necessarily want to be around people. So this is it's not to be confused with somebody who is emotional, although they do kind of feel their way through things. And so they and multitasking is much easier for a blue brain than it is for the other colors.
Yeah, I think I like the blue brain person. When I was in coaching school, we actually talked about something similar. Not in these type of terms, but when we're coaching someone and we got to understand how they process things, and we looked at it in a different way. For instance, if they're auditory or they're visual or intuitive was one of the ones that was on that little in that bucket. But I've actually never heard of the blue brain and the purple brain and the red brain before, or even the colors. But I hope that I'm an intuitive processor because I like that. Right.
Oh,
Actually,
cool.
I am an intuitive processor. I figured that out when I was in, in coaching school. That's how I process things. But yeah, so if you were to pick one, do you have? You were talking about the master key. How does the master key fit into this, or it does not?
Okay. Well, okay. I mean, first of all, let's look at the best colored brain to have. Okay. So the best colored brain to have is the one that you have. Okay. A lot of times people end up trying to be something that they're not, or they think there's something wrong with them because they're either too structured or not structured enough or whatever, and they think, I need to fix this, and they don't. Okay. They need to actually be more the best of who they are and synergize with other people. So first of all, the colored brain is one of the key factors. But then when you want to go ahead and literally create systems, so to speak, that are going to help you to improve your ability to do what it is that you actually need to do to really succeed and push you through it, which is where, I had this is where I was, suffering and making problems. I had the ambition, I had the mindset, I had everything, and yet I wasn't doing anything. Okay, things weren't working, and it wasn't until I started to actually notice these different elements and apply them in my life and create systems, if you will, okay, gamification systems that motivated me constantly. But again, it was specific to me and my process, and also specific to my primary motivators. Okay.
Which one are you in this list?
Sorry.
Which one are you in this list? Which processing do you have?
Oh, I'm the green brain. Okay, chaotic processing.
All right.
So I mean, for example, time management for a green brain is not. You can't structure. You can't schedule it. Okay. What you do is you basically schedule priorities and then large chunks of time, and then you have like many things to do so that you can kind of fit them in to the whole system. But if you try to schedule it and I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, you will fail, because that's not how the green brain works.
Right.
Okay, so you have multiple. You break it down. The entire day is 3 chunks of time. Now, for example, motivation. Okay, that's totally separate than the colored brain. Okay, so your motivators. These are things that affect the decisions you make. This is the why you do stuff, right? And so what ends up happening is that, let's say, for example, like some of the research we did with various teams, we would find that if like for example, a logistics team, their job was to literally move furniture from the warehouse, deliver it to the customer without any damage, okay? And they weren't doing so well. There was 9 people on this team. And after observing them for a few days, we found, okay, so we took one guy out. Now you have 8 people doing the work of 9, and guess what?
It was better, more efficient.
The entire team actually performed better.
Yes. I saw that one come in. All right. So because
so again, that goes back to the mix.
Right. He was a different one out. Okay.
Yeah, and so for example, there's these different motivators. So you've got, like, say for example, some people have a very high emotional drive for security and control. Okay, and depending on what other emotional drives they have, that can either mean that they are very quiet and just won't say anything because they don't want to make any waves, or that they are control freaks and they need to kind of make sure that everything is according to the way that they think it should be. And in different environments, they may have different elements. Now, the emotional drives, as you go through life, those do change. But the colored brain, that is a genetic foundation, and that doesn't change.
Of course, right. All right, so in the beginning, we started talking about keys and the master key. So I'm trying to tie this into that. How does this
Okay, so if you understand, you understand your colored brain, right? and you understand your primary motivators. Okay, now every motivator basically is connected to a behavior, right? So if you understand the behaviors you need to do, okay, so you need to have, in order to achieve this thing that you want to achieve, you want to have this specific behavior. So what are the motivators that are connected to those behaviors? Okay, now with the awareness of your own motivators, okay, the things that actually drive you, with the awareness of how you process and interpret information so that you can, customize it according to that, you can create these little mini gamified processes that will constantly motivate you using your motivators, okay, to achieve the behaviors that you are trying to achieve. Okay, but so the key is the awareness and understanding of not just yourself, but how this works with the people around you, because every group mix is going to affect you differently. Okay, for example, when you're with your friends, you're going to behave differently than when you're with your family. And you're not doing it on purpose, it's just different. So by understanding the right mix for you to be in, it's also going to help you to basically be the person that you need to be in order to achieve the goals that you want to achieve.
So one of the questions I have here to ask you is about gamification. So what I think you just said is that you have a gamification process in order to figure this out, right?
Well, gamification essentially, in its simplest, easiest form, is measurement. Okay. Okay. So with gamification, you're basically looking at measuring things, which is what Facebook and Instagram is doing, right? So, how many likes did I get? How many shares? How many people are commenting? Okay, and so just even the element of measurement and making it easy and quick, and working together with a team where you can measure and see even, where's your rank, how am I doing, and tie it very specifically to the objectives of behavior, not objectives of, I finished this project, but behavioral objectives, so that you can basically improve or reward behaviors that are going to help you to achieve the result. The problem is that people focus on, you did this, you finished this, and therefore you get a reward, instead of actually looking at the behaviors, because those behaviors are also going to affect the culture, which affects everybody in that group, in order to basically have the type of environment that supports success for those people.
All right, well, I'm still not getting it, so break it down for me. So let's say that you are, you get hired to come into a company and help transform their leaders, because that's what you do. So you would have an assessment test to figure out where everybody is at, what kind of brain they have, what their motivators, I'm assuming, and then what do you do? How do you and then you measure it with gamifications, and just take it around a circle for me, so somebody listening can understand how you can help them.
All right. So first of all, they have to have the awareness, right? Okay. They have to have the very specific ability to understand themselves, and also understand the people who are around them. And through that awareness, they are going to be able to create or to basically understand. I mean, it's kind of like, once I am aware that there is a light switch in the room, I can go and I can take that light switch and I can turn it on, and I can have light. Okay? But if I don't know that, if I don't have that awareness, then I don't have that benefit. Okay, so the first thing is actually creating the awareness. Second, so for example, we use an app called Squadly. All right, Squadly is squad and then L-I, and you can find it at squadly.com. So Squadly, it's a measurement tool, and it's super fast. You can create a data point in less than 20 seconds. And it's and it just uses emoji and these little awards, but it's all tied into very specifically it's tied into the objectives very specifically.
Okay.
And so once you have that, okay, now, I mean, you know, there's literally days of content that I could give you here, okay. But once you want to have that understanding, okay, these are my motivators. Okay, these are the motivators of the people around me. So now I know that they're going to complement my motivators, and that means, you know, it's kind of like when you find that group of friends that just makes you feel unstoppable.
Right.
Okay, you don't know why, but in this particular case, with the awareness, it's predictable. You know why. You will know why. You can literally pick the people that are going to support your success and whose success you will support the process. Okay, and then we create a situation where we want to maintain certain behaviors, and okay, whether it's our own or the team specifically, and we basically gamify it by giving each other these points or these emoji or these awards, and then you'll see, oh, okay, hey, this person is you know, really working, you know, improving on closing the gaps on communication, and this person is really, you know, helping to, you know, the whole team, and they're, you know, being very supported. So whatever objectives you have, these are going to be behavior objectives that you're going to be giving them rewards on. Okay, and so that gives them points, and so then you can also see what's going on, and you end up creating a kind of a fun environment where you are aware. So number one, I mean, that increases trust. It's like once you know why this person is doing this, you understand it's not really about you, and that they're just doing their own thing, trying to fill their own emotional drives, and it's like, oh, okay. So you're building trust. You're rebuilding respect.
Okay. Got you.
Okay, and that's usually where, you know, and that's how you get that done.
All right. Well, you said when you were in your job, you were able to save them $17,000 per week. Were you using these systems at that point?
Well, I was using the awareness part at the time.
Okay. All right. Okay, so the awareness part.
So that was So understanding the awareness gave you foundation of being able to connect with your own understanding. Because I mean, you know, when you're frustrated and when you're looking at people and you're going, oh my gosh, you know, these people are idiots. You're losing the respect. You're losing the trust. You don't move. You don't do stuff. Okay, and because of that, you end up creating these environments that are not supporting your success or the people around you.
Okay, so how did that turn into dollars? How did that turn into what processes did you help save them or make efficient? That's probably the better word, so that they were able to, you know, put all that $17,000 a week. That's a lot of money a year. So how did this awareness?
Well, okay. I mean,
now I'm thinking like a red brain person,
yeah.
like linear. I need you to connect the dots for me. So how did one thing connect to the next? Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So first of all, what you have is a situation where if people are more aware and they're not reacting to you, then you actually have people making better decisions and not reactive decisions. You have more cooperation, and because you have more cooperation, you actually have people that listen, and so therefore, again, you have further better decisions. And before they were, you know, the wastage basically came from lack of communication, lack of trust. I don't want to listen to this. You know, these people are idiots, and people didn't really communicate that well.
Okay. So communication, big thing, right? All right. Okay. So all right.
Okay.
So go ahead. Did you want to say
and so anyway, I mean, I'm I am also going to be, doing a webinar here shortly, and you can go to psychologylifehacks.com, where I actually go into detail on this thing.
Okay. psychologylifehacks.com.
psychologylifehacks.com. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. All right. So yeah, well, let's take our second break, and then we're going to come back, and you can tell the audience how they can get a hold of you, your different websites, and how they can get a copy of your books. And then you can probably talk a little bit more about your last book. So let's take our second break. So we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Hello and welcome to samgood.com. We offer innovative solutions for the lawn care and vehicle washing industry for both customers and providers. We welcome you to review the information on our site so you could learn how we operate and how you can benefit. We're not just another lawn care or vehicle washing business. We're transforming the industry by directly connecting customers with qualified providers. Now, hold on to your seat for a minute, because what I'm about to say will probably shock you and hopefully pique your interest. Listen very carefully. The first 1,000 customers to receive 20 ordered jobs, meaning lawn care yard cuts, vehicle washings, or both, they will receive what we call CRAF, a Customer Relief Appreciation Fund, which is $10,000 paid out to beneficiaries of a customer if they pass away. Now, the customer still receives the funding even if we never do another job for them again after the initial 20. We offer this as an added benefit to show our appreciation to our valued customers. But wait, there's more. If a beneficiary of that customer were to pass away, that customer would receive the $10,000 or more. We say more because after we've done 20 jobs for the customer, $100 is added to the $10,000 for each additional job performed. So, every time a customer wants work done by us, we add $100 to their fund. We are the only company around that's rewarding customers on this level for just trying out our services. And our ideas of how to reward customers are only going to get better as we grow. Our valued customers will always remain our top priority. Thank you, and we look forward to having you as a customer or provider.
Welcome back to the From Your Mind Radio Show and Podcast. Your host, Coach Myrna Young. And today we've been having a very interesting conversation with thought leader Arthur Carmazzi. And Arthur has been talking to us about the colored brain. You know, I don't know if you figured out which way are you yet, but are you a green brain person, a red brain, a purple brain, or I figured out that I'm the blue brain. So as we wrap up, Arthur is going to tell us how we can get hold of his latest book and all his other books. And I think he has a gift for you. So Arthur, let the audience know how they can get in touch with you.
I do. Okay. Well, first of all, let me tell you where about the book. Okay. So it's Architects of Extraordinary Team Culture, and you can get it on Amazon. And if you just type in Architects of Extraordinary Team Culture, you'll find it easy enough. But what I want to give you is I actually want to give you a free colored brain test. Okay. So the colored brain test is you go to coloredbrain.com and you sign up for a membership, and then you need to send an email, okay, because we're not going to give these codes out to anybody. You got to send an email, okay, that says that, hey, I heard you on Myrna's podcast and our radio show, and I want the colored brain, and I want the colored brain code. And when you do that, we're going to hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
And and when you do that, we are going to send you we're going to send you a code that'll allow you to take the $18.95 for absolutely free. and you get to do the test, and it'll help you to understand your own colored brain. And when you get other people involved in there, you'll be able to see their colored brain as well, and how to work with them and communicate with them. And the email, you got to send the email. Yeah,
okay.
got to send. Okay, so the email that you send is you send it to support@directivecommunication.com. support@directivecommunication.com. And if you want to learn more about the colored brain and applications to leadership and organizational culture, go to my YouTube channel, which you can find at youtube.com/Carmazzi TV, and Carmazzi is spelled C-A-R-M-A-Z-Z-I, or Z-Z-I in America, and TV is spelled with a T and a V. Well, you know that.
Is it a .TV? Is it a .TV
and
or
do
just
subscribe.
TV?
No, it's just Carmazzi TV. Yeah, so it's youtube.com/Carmazzi TV, and please subscribe and get, and that way you'll get all the weekly videos and stuff that we put out there.
Okay. All right, sounds good. And what was the name of your book again, the last one?
The Architects of Extraordinary Team Culture.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So great. And before you wrapped up the last time in our last segment, you were inviting the audience to a webinar. You want to say that information again?
Yeah. The webinar is one that I do every week, and it is the psychology life hacks that are going to basically help you to actually get stuff done, because a lot of times you have the mindset and things just aren't working, and so that you go to psychology life hacks with an S .com, psychologylifehacks.com, and when you do that, that's going to take you to then you register for the webinar, the next one, and then I'll be talking about 5 very specific things that you can do to improve your actual achievement.
Nice. Love it. All right, so you heard it. You've got several ways that you can reach out to Arthur after this podcast. You can get on his webinar at psychologylifehacks.com. You can send an email to support@directivecommunication.com.
Directivecommunication.com, right.
.com, right? No S, right? Communication.com.
No S.
Right? And that will give you the code to get the free colored brain assessment, which is a $18.95 value. And then finally,
you got to mention Myrna. Myrna.
And you got to mention Myrna, of course, right? Or to transform your mind. So either one would work. And then finally, you can reach Arthur on YouTube. So, and that is CarmazziTV.com. YouTube. YouTube.com/CarmazziTV. But if they just type you in the bar, they'll pick you up. All right. So, Arthur, I want to thank you for talking to me at 1 a.m. your time. Like I said to you in the beginning of our conversation, that is dedication. It's 1 p.m. New York time, or Florida time. So I appreciate the effort. I appreciate you sharing your specialty with the audience. Very very high energy conversation, so I like that as well.
I really appreciate being here, Mary.
Yes, thank you. All right, so in closing, I want to thank you for tuning into the Transform Your Mind at Radio Show and Podcast. To learn some life hacks today from Arthur, then we have met our intention and to share what you've learned. And please remember to rate and post a review in iTunes. Your reviews allow the show to rank higher on the charts. been receiving some really nice emails from some of you on how the content is helping you with various aspects of your life, and I love that. Good feedback encourages me to continue doing what I'm doing. You can visit me on my website, which is blog.myhelps.us. You'll be able to listen to this audio program as well as get a transcript of audio just in case you missed anything. And if you send me a nice email, you can do so at info@myhelps.us. Arthur, I want to thank you again for taking the time to share your knowledge, listeners, and hopefully you can go to bed now.
Yeah, it was really fun, Myrna. It was really fun, even with so all the little technical issues that we had. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. All right, guys. Until next time, namaste.